A big vote on Capitol Hill caught the attention of many across the state, whether it is a sign of a cultural shift.
All four of Utah's Republican congressmen voted in favor of a bill to protect same-sex marriage at the federal level.
Given the strong history that ties religion to politics here in Utah, some call the vote unexpected. Tonight, 2 News investigates Lincoln Graves, examines what it could mean moving forward.
You have to say that I was personally surprised.
I think the vote in general is a surprise.
Well, pleasantly surprised.
A consistent reaction to Utah's 4 congressmen, all Republican, voting for federal legal protections for same-sex marriage. Equality Utah's Marina Lowe says it's an important signal of support.
It fills Utahns with pride and with happiness about the direction that at least our congressmen are headed.
But what's behind it? On the political side, U of U professor Jim Curry says it's quickly shifting attitudes about same-sex marriage. He notes most opposition to it now comes from rural Republicans.
And this is a state where most of the Republican voters tend to be more suburban, and where they've shown time and time again they're willing to vote in a more moderate direction.
According to polling, most Americans now support same-sex marriage. Where voters go, politicians tend to follow.
And I think there's a sense among a lot of Republicans that this is an issue where if they continue to oppose same-sex marriage, they're increasingly behind not only the vast majority of American voters, but even a majority of Republican voters.
But Utah also has the religious influence. All 4 Utah congressmen are members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which still holds that marriage is between a man and a woman.
Just because they're Mormons doesn't mean that they're taking orders from the church or voting the way that the church would dictate.
Patrick Mason is a Mormon studies professor at Utah State University. He agrees that political realities and growing support for same-sex marriage take precedence over any religious beliefs.
So it's possible for religious people to believe one thing doctrinally, but also recognize that in the public square, things are going to be a little bit different.
We asked to speak with Representatives Curtis, Moore, Owens, and Stewart about their vote. None would agree to an interview, though Curtis released a statement saying, in part, "I do not believe the federal government should infringe upon an individual's decision about who they wish to marry." Regardless of the motivation, Jim calls the vote a key moment in an ongoing cultural shift.
I think so. I think this is a watershed vote, even if it doesn't go anywhere this Congress.
In general, yes, we do.
Marina admits the vote may be a political calculation, but she's more inclined to believe that growing support for same-sex marriage is just personal.
Most people know and love and care about somebody who is a member of the LGBT community, and I think it's sort of easy to get behind legislation that protects and cares for and nurtures the people that we love.
Of the state of Utah.
In Salt Lake City, Lincoln Graves, KUTV 2 News.
Legally.
This bill faces an uncertain future in the Senate. We did ask Senators Lee and Romney if they'd support it. Senator Lee's spokesperson says he's heard from people about religious liberty concerns. He says Senator Lee is actively working with his Senate colleagues to address those concerns and is exploring solutions to safeguard religious liberty. In a press call with reporters last week, Senator Romney said he would not make a commitment on how to vote until he sees an actual bill. He also said he doesn't think the Supreme Court would even consider overturning the right to same-sex marriage.